That's cool.
So, is it naughty of me to show you TE because like you probably both don't like TE? So,
Go ahead.
Are these all the things that you don't like about TE?
Except theoretical. Why is it theoretical? I would say that like things with theory of evolution, scientific and stuff, that starts off as introverted thinking and usually with intuition, and then TI comes along and sees it and just uses it.
The thing is, though, the theory of evolution, though, it's like the way Darwin approached it. Like, you could argue that there's a lot of empirical stuff that's coming from the theory of evolution. Like, there's a huge evidence base for it, and I think in science, where your initial hypothesis, you probably got some subjective factor going on in there, but like science really tries to be objective with like, and even like with double-blind trials and stuff, like they're really trying to eliminate the subjective factor.
Well, isn't TI trying to do that as well in its own way?
Yeah, it depends, because like there's really good TI that most TI thinks it is but isn't. Like, you know, like when it's really solid reasoning that you can't, and I'm not going to give examples because it would be a digression, but you know what I mean. Not all thinking reaches that level of the super duper TI that cannot be argued with and is absolute truth. Most TI is just speculative stuff that's internally consistent.
Yeah, I would say that extroverted thinking is just taking what extroverted thinking has created and trying to apply it. So it's like almost like it's lazy. It's like extroverted thinking is hardworking on the outside, but it's kind of lazy on the inside because it's just taking what's there and running.
There's a bit of that. I think there's a bit of that.
So kind of like how FE is more aware of what other people's emotions are and less aware of their own emotions. So it's like, whereas FI, it almost wants to reinvent the wheel from an FJ's point of view, or reinvent the emotional wheel. And I think TI is kind of the same from a TJ point of view. So it's like, I agree with the first part in terms of the accepted laws.
Yeah, it's like,
I'd say the accepted laws, accepted scientific laws, perhaps.
Yeah, I can give you an example, like, say, Newtonian physics. Like, at the time, Kant thought it was like, this is absolutely true. But now we know, well, mostly true for, say, Newtonian physics, because there's certain situations where it doesn't work. But it's like, what is you accept? Because there's like, you can look back in historical eras where if you would like to interview the people about like their extroverted thinking, it was like, what was the thinking conventional to them at that time? The certain things that they believed in, that they accepted as just the way things were. Like some of the Greeks thought that the blood, they thought the brain was to cool the blood and the intelligence was in the heart.
Wait, were you implying that Kant was a TJ type?
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that.
Thank God.
Absolutely not. He's like INTP. He is the god of INTPs. Yeah. He even had that. He would even like, he had some inferior FE going along. Like he'd want to socialize in the afternoon for about 3 hours and then tell him to bugger off so he could go and do some thinking. Just picking up the pace, getting up. Did I do TI? No, I didn't do TI, but I'll just put that down there.
You've been doing a lot of TI for this entire video.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a bit, like I said, you can get assertive, like you get a real structure out there. I mean, you can sort of see that and then imaginative, speculative thought experiments. I think socionics concentrates too much on TI as rigid structure, and that's why it gets it mixed up with the behavior of SJs. And then again, integration of theories, you could say I do that. And then the subjective, like again, thought experiments, yeah. If you're plotting a novel, if you're plotting things out, and like, what would they do in this situation? And that sort of thing. Subjective based thinking. And I have all my introverted definitions as subjective and all my extroverted definitions as empirical, and that matches Jung. Whereas socionics doesn't properly understand vertness. Now you go. 2 functions you know more about than I do. What about this?